It's NFL season. It's NFL season. So I thought I'd do a new series again. I did try this last. It didn't quite come to plan. So it's Eagles in 8. Sixers in 6 will still continue as it does. And I want to talk about the Eagles. I want to talk about Phillies at the end. Actually, let's get the Phillies out of the way right now. Bryce Harper is the man. Our bullpen keeps letting us down, and it's frustrating as hell. But Bryce Harper just comes up big, and I love him. At the moment, I love him. We hopefully have a red October, and we're going to have the Eagles hopefully 5-6-1, depending on when I haven't checked when the baseball season officially ends. I think it's end of this month. But yes, let's hope red October. And Bryce Harper, you are the man. So Eagles, let's break it down. Let's start with the coaches. And I'm not going to overreact. I've seen loads of overreaction. Anthony Gargano show, social media, all over the place. There's no overreact. We got out, the coaches were better on the other side, more superior on the other side, and that showed at different times of the game. Bill O'Brien was kind of getting things going, and Bill Belichick and the defensive setup that he has there took on a rookie Brian Johnson, and I think he did outcoach him and made him gave him a bit of a lesson, and that will give. I'd like to think Brian Johnson a learning curve as he goes into go against Minnesota and going forward as the season goes on. I like to think as well that Nick Sirianni will learn from that because he is a great coach. He's still learning and developing, but Bill Belichick's probably the greatest coach of all time, or certainly up there. You can Bill Parcells, Vince Lombardi, you can go through this, but he's in the top 5, whether you like him or not. And he's got the coaching was on their side. So, you give the Patriots, okay, if they can coach their team like that with average players across the board, average wide receivers, average quarterback, average tight end, and put up points on a good defense or a solid defense, for me, a top 7-8 defense in the NFL, then you give them props. And I think they outcoached us towards the end of the game, and we're just lucky the game didn't go on for another few minutes because we probably would have lost the game if that was the case, because we're lucky they didn't kick a field goal actually earlier on and then got back into field goal range and could have done it. So yeah, I think we've got to give it, just accept that we got outcoached, or the other guys got outcoached, but the players did enough on the field to do it. Now, let's get the bad out of the way. So I think Jalen Hurts didn't have a great game. Offensively, it was poor, and I think that comes down to the coaching. So I think I'm going to tie that in and link that in and say we just got to change that. I do want to see, even though Jalen took a big hit, I want to see Jalen run more still because it does open up the game. I want to see more of DeAndre Swift as well also. However, my big take is this, and I'll probably name the title of my video this. I think Kenny Gainwell is a great running back. I do. I don't think he's an elite running back. I don't think he's a number 1 running back for that, and he can walk into any team. I don't think that, but I think he's going to do enough to win us games. And I think he deserves 8 to 10 touches every game. And if he gets hot, maybe more. I thought he had an okay game. The offensive line's solid, so they'll help him out and get those extra runs. But I think he made the right runs. I didn't look at any run and go, and I'm not an NFL coach, I'm not qualified, but looking at it and knowing what I've watched over the last 13 years, I didn't see anything where I thought that was a poor run by Gainwell, like I've done with Sanders or what I've done with other people in the past. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we adapt and get that Swift involved, and how we obviously got it involved. We panicked about Smith last year after game 1, and then game 2 he went off. So maybe we put some bets on that. I'll probably go got it touchdown on a bet next on Thursday. So yeah, I don't get upset about that. He did get targeted a couple of times that were over his head, and but we got targeted more than a couple of times. That's the point, right? And I think we'll be better going forward. Now the praise. Let's praise the defense. They were on the field a lot, and I think the only reason why the Patriots got on top of us because they went high tempo. They read the game. They got on top of us with the coaching, and the coaches took advantage using their experience of they're on the field. Let's go and pressure them. Let's get them and push them, and they did. Fletcher Cox come in, made a massive play, and he thought that was it. If we can get a first down out of this, run the clock down a bit more, we'll be okay. Didn't happen. Jalen Hurts fumbled the ball, and he took a big hit, and I don't want him taking those hits, but I do want him to run, so I've got to accept that's going to happen. But we did well, and I think you've got to accept that we're not going to keep teams to single digits or team winning numbers. 17 points, you know, your 17.5 points is probably where you roughly want to hold defenses down on teams like the Patriots, okay? So when we play the teams that are going to win 8-9 games or less, because I think Patriots will probably win 9, they might win 10 to be fair, because I haven't seen their schedule, but they aren't as bad as, you know, I initially thought. So they might actually be a winning above 500 team. But when you're playing teams that are 500 or less, you want to keep them probably 17, you know, maybe, you know, 20 points or whatever, 19 if they're kicking, like, you know, field goal touchdown combinations or whatever. But against elite teams, you're going to be giving up 21, 24 points. And we did okay. We were on that borderline with it, with the points, right? But they were on the field a lot. If the offense plays like it did, we'll be okay. Like it did last year, we'll be okay. For me, that's like the preseason game. So if we part this in game 2, I'm going to be worried, okay? And game 3, I'm going to be worried. But if there's improvements in game 2 and improvements in game 3, I'm going to be happy. However, in a couple of weeks' time, if it's not got better and we're 2-1 or whatever, then I'm going to be upset. And I think all of Philadelphia and every other Philadelphia sports fan across the world is going to be the same. So let's not be overreactive. We got what we needed to do. Jake Elliott come up clutch. Fantastic by Jake. And the weather affected our offensive play from a, you know, throwing perspective, but from a kicking perspective, Jake did his bit. Yeah, he missed the first extra point, whatever, but his field goals came up was clutch. So fair play to Jake. You know, deserves his contract that he got a couple of years back. Fantastic player. Came up clutch. Player of the match for me, definitely. You know, man of the match, as we call it in England on the soccer side of things. But yeah, definitely player of the game for the Eagles. Deserved 100% to be recognised. Another player that played really well, not just because of the way that he scored the touchdown, but Slay, I thought, played really well, looked solid, fantastic, you know. And then for me, you know, GAINWELL did well. Obviously, the line did right as well, you know. Smith, Davis, Cox, they all did well. You know, Fletcher Cox obviously got more recognised because he got the sack in and did it at vulnerable time. But I thought that, you know, there's loads of positives to take from the defensive side of things, considering how long they're on the field for. It's offensively, we've got to see things better, but that's the side of the ball where there's a lot of talent. And I fully expect Jalen to play like he did last year and pick out Goddard, pick out Smith, pick out AJ Brown, get Swift more involved and keep GAINWELL there, and then, you know, every now and then put in a bit of Scott and a bit of Penny. But I don't know what they. I think based on what Nick said, I think we're going to see a lot more Penny on Thursday. So I don't know what the plan will be with GAINWELL, but I'd give him another chance. I didn't think he did anything wrong on Sunday night, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's my review of the game. I'll give it a B. You get a win, so you can't give it lower than that. B for the overall. You know, I think defense was A, Jake Elliott was A, coaching was probably D, special teams was probably D, and offense was probably D. You know, I wouldn't go as far as an F. They did enough at points to do it. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, please like and subscribe. I want to grow the channel. I say this every time, and I want to get guests and people on, and I won't be able to if I can't grow the channel, because no one's going to want to join me and speak to me about Eagles, Sixers, or Phillies. Sorry, I'm not into Flyers. And do it if I only get like 20, 30 views. But thank you very much. Take care and go Birds.